The horn blared and the ground shook as a cement truck rolled onto my little wooden bridge. Karen stood there waving her phone, yelling, "Keep going! He can't stop us!" I ran out and shouted, "That bridge can't take that weight." She smirked. "It's HOA work now." The boards cracked. My kid screamed from the porch. The driver slammed the brakes just in time. Karen spun toward me and screamed, "Arrest him! He's blocking a public project." 2 patrol cars slid in fast, lights flashing. One cop asked, "Whose bridge?" Karen shoved a paper at him. "HOA access. He's trespassing." I looked at the splintered wood, then at the truck stuck half on, half off. I stayed calm. Because I knew something she didn't, I said, "Officer, before you tow anything, check who paid for that bridge." Karen laughed loud. "He's broke." I pulled out my phone and opened a deed. The cop leaned in. Karen's smile froze. The bridge creaked again, louder this time, like it was warning all of us. And that's when the driver whispered, "Ma'am, my company never approved this route." Karen snapped, "Drive forward now." The driver shook his head. "My boss will fire me." She turned on him. "The HOA will cover it." One cop stepped closer to the bridge and pressed. His boot down, it dipped. He looked at me. "You said this is private?" I nodded. Karen jumped in front of him. "He's lying. We marked it as a shared path last week." I pulled up a video on my phone. Her own voice, standing right here yesterday, saying, "We'll push the trucks through before he notices." The cop's jaw tightened. Karen tried to grab my phone. "That's illegal to record." Another crack echoed under the truck. The driver yelled, "I'm backing up." Karen screamed, "Don't you dare." He reversed anyway. The bridge held barely. Then Karen leaned in close to me and whispered, "I'll bury you in fines." I whispered back, "You already crossed the line." Behind her, one cop quietly radioed in, "We may need county engineering out here." Karen didn't hear it. She was too busy smiling, like she still thought she was winning. The county engineer arrived fast, eyes sharp, tape measure in hand. He didn't say much. He just walked the bridge, looked under it, then looked at Karen. "Who approved heavy trucks here?" Karen pointed at me. "He refused to maintain it." The engineer shook his head. "This bridge isn't HOA, it's a private easement. And it's rated for farm use only." Karen's face went pale. She laughed, nervous. "So we'll fine him." I said nothing. I just handed over one more file, a purchase agreement. The engineer blinked. "You own the land on both sides?" I nodded. Karen snapped, "That's impossible!" The cop read closer. "And this easement, it blocks commercial traffic." Karen stepped back. "You can't do this. We already poured half the path." The engineer sighed. "Then you just destroyed private property." Karen's voice cracked. "Arrest him." The cop looked at her and said, "Ma'am, step aside." That's when she realized something was very wrong. And it wasn't the bridge. Karen started yelling at everyone at once. "He tricked us. He hid this." The cop asked her for ID. She waved it off. "Do your job." The engineer pulled up photos on his tablet. Fresh concrete, tire marks, the HOA logo on the trucks. "This work never had a permit," he said. Karen tried one last move. She pointed at my house. "He threatened us. My kids are scared." The cop looked at me, then at my porch camera, blinking red. I tapped my phone and played the clip. Her voice filled the air. "Run the trucks tonight. If it breaks, blame him." Silence hit hard. The driver swallowed. "She told us it was approved." The cop exhaled slow. "Ma'am, you filed a false report." Karen stepped back, heels sliding in the snow. "This isn't over," she said, shaking. I finally spoke. "It actually is." The engineer nodded. "This bridge will be closed." "To everyone but him." Karen's phone buzzed nonstop. HOA board, lawyers, insurance. She stared at the screen like it might save her. But it didn't. The next morning, orange tape wrapped the bridge like a warning nobody could ignore. HOA trucks lined up on the road, stuck. Karen stood there again, eyes red, voice loud. "You can't do this." "People need access." I sipped my coffee and watched her argue with the county crew. One worker shook his head. "Access is allowed, if you own it." She snapped back. "The HOA pays taxes here." He pointed at his clipboard. "Not on this land." That's when a black SUV pulled up. A man stepped out, calm, suit pressed. Karen smiled fast. Finally, our lawyer. He didn't look at her. He looked at me. Sir, I represent the lender. Karen froze. What lender? He opened a folder. The one that holds the HOA's mortgage. Her face drained. We don't have a mortgage. He flipped the page. You refinanced 3 years ago. I set my cup down. He works for me. Karen laughed once, sharp and shaky. That's not funny. The lawyer finally met her eyes. Your loan is in default. The wind pushed dust across the road. Karen whispered, Because of the bridge? I shrugged. Because you broke it. One board member dropped his phone. Another stepped away from her. Karen stood alone, staring at the locked gate. Realizing the key was never hers. Sirens came later, but not for me. Karen was pacing, talking fast, telling everyone this was a mistake. Then the county inspector walked onto the bridge with a hard hat and a tablet. He tapped the screen and said, Load damage confirmed. This bridge is unsafe. Karen jumped in front of him. They use it every day. He looked up. Not anymore. One of the HOA guys whispered, We have deliveries. Cement trucks. The inspector nodded. That's why this failed. Karen turned to me. You let them cross on purpose. I shook my head. You ignored the wait signs. She pulled out her phone and dialed 911 loud enough for all of us to hear. Yes, trespassing and sabotage. 10 minutes later, a sheriff rolled in. He listened, slow and quiet, then asked one question. Who owns the bridge? I handed him a folded deed. He read it, then looked at Karen. Ma'am, you reported the owner? Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. The sheriff sighed. That's a false report. Karen's voice cracked. He trapped us, I finally spoke. No, you drove right in. The sheriff turned to his radio. I need a unit. Karen stepped back, eyes wide, as the board members stopped standing next to her, one by one. By sunset, the road was quiet again. Karen sat on the curb while the sheriff talked to her, calm but firm. The board signed papers with shaking. Hands as the lender's lawyer explained the deal. The HOA would pay for the bridge repairs, fines, and damages, or lose everything. They chose to pay. The gate opened later that week, rebuilt stronger, wait signs bolted in deep. My kids crossed it laughing, chasing the dog, safe again. Karen didn't come back. The HOA sent a letter, short and polite, asking for permission before any work. I framed the deed and hung it by the door. When the flag went up the next morning, the wind caught it just right. I stood there a moment and thought about how close we came to losing peace. Then I smiled. This is my land, I said softly, and freedom doesn't need permission.